So Joe Rogan recently had Chris Kresser on his podcast once again. They essentially had a 2.5 hour love affair, gushed over meat and animal products, all while criticizing the Game Changers documentary. I'm not going to go through the entire thing. It's just too long. I'm sure there'll be many response videos coming up from the vegan community. But I did want to cover this one thing that they mentioned about nutrient density and different types of foods, because it was totally ridiculous, totally not true, and it really is just par for the course, honestly, of the kind of content you can expect out of Joe Rogan at this point, especially regarding veganism.
Argument about nutrient density. This is why that term is very important, because people always want to use that for plant-based foods, nutrient-dense plant-based foods. Meat is far more nutrient-dense per calorie, per ounce, per amino acid profile.
With essential nutrients, yeah.
Yes.
So essential meaning nutrients that we can't manufacture on our own, and that we absolutely need. Organ meats are actually at the top of the list in terms of nutrient density. Organ meats and shellfish take the cake. Then you have herbs and spices are actually pretty high too, and then you have other muscle meats, eggs, all those things. Foods like grains and legumes tend to be towards the bottom of the list. With vegetables in the middle.
You're wrong.
Chris said that organ meats are the most nutrient-dense foods that exist. Well, let's take a look. Here's 100 calories of beef liver. And, well, it's certainly got a lot of some nutrients, but it's severely lacking in some others. But, hang on a minute. He also said that muscle meats are very nutrient-dense as well. Well, what about ground beef? 100 calories? Well, it's got B12, but so does my B12 supplement. And chicken breasts are even worse still. Well, you know what? Let's take a look at vegetables, since he said they're even worse, so I can't imagine what some of those might look like. Plot twist, Chris and Joe are lying to you. Here are some examples of some leafy green vegetables that are so nutrient-dense, they actually provide a dangerous amount of vitamin K with just 100 calories worth. But what's this all mean practically speaking? We don't just eat isolated foods, we eat meals. And honestly, 100 calories of leafy greens is a ton, and nobody really eats that. So I got an idea. Let's compare a Joe Rogan style meal with a whole food vegan meal, each of 1,000 calories, and we'll go through nutrients. So Joe likes to bring up his podcast with Robert Oberst, and when he said that all strongmen eat a lot of meat and a lot of rice, and none of them are vegan, of course. And he's also stated that we do best on an animal and vegetable diet. So to kind of combine that, the Joe Rogan meal is going to consist of 1 cup of cooked brown rice. We're going to have an 8-ounce T-bone steak. And we're also going to throw in a cup of cooked broccoli with some butter on it, because that sounds like sort of a paleo thing to do. Okay, so our vegan meal is going to also contain the same serving of brown rice that we had in the other meal. I'm going to throw a cup of cooked lentils in there because they were dumping on lentils in the podcast. We're also going to have 4 ounces of tofu. And we're going to start our plate out with a nice little bed of watercress. We're going to throw a sweet potato on there. We are going to have some bell pepper. And wow, this is a lot of stuff. I mean, are we going to hit 1,000 calories here soon? Yeah, let's see. Let's throw some mushrooms in there. Let's throw some flaxseed in there. Oh, geez, we're still not at 1,000 calories. Okay, how about a banana? Ah, that'll do it. All right, let's check out the nutrition. Okay, so of the 12 essential vitamins Chronometer has data on, we can see that the plant-based meal contains more of 9 of them when we keep the calories nearly equal. The lone essential vitamin not listed is biotin, or vitamin B7, and this one, according to the National Institute of Health, or NIH, is more abundant in animal food. So after scoring the 13 essential vitamins, we have a score of plant-based meal 9 and animal-based meal 4. Moving on to essential minerals. Now again, there are some trace minerals that Chronometer doesn't have data on, and we'll go back to the NIH for those in a moment. But for the more abundant minerals, the plant-based meal wins 7 out of 10. The best dietary source of iodine is plant-based seaweed, but I will give the point to animal foods here, as most other top sources are animal-based. For chromium, we'll give the point to plants. As you can see, most of the top sources there are plant. Chris's old buddy beef liver makes a charge for molybdenum, but ultimately legumes are the best source. And for selenium, a similar situation as with iodine, where plant-based food, in this case Brazil nuts, is the top, but it's mostly animal food, so they get the point. Now, the NIH does not even have a page for the final essential mineral, which is cobalt, but some digging can reveal animal sources as being better, though it is not completely absent in plants. So after scoring the 28 essential vitamins and minerals, we have a total score of plant-based foods 18 and animal-based 10. We'll throw Joe a bone here with protein. Not a surprise, the animal meal does win 8 of the 9 essential amino acids, with tryptophan being the exception here. But what else do you notice? All essential amino acid requirements are still met in the vegan meal, which is only of 1,000 calories, much less than you would consume in a day. Cysteine and tyrosine are not essential, they are only conditionally so. As such, I'm not giving the meat meal points for them, because then I'd have to give points to the vegan meal for having loads more fiber and also more carbohydrate, which is the body's preferred source of energy. While we're here, let's check out the remaining piece of the essential nutrient puzzle, those being the omega-3 alpha-linolenic acid and omega-6 linoleic acid. Chronometer doesn't specifically break down which omega-3s and 6s are present, but the vegan meal does still win both of these categories. And when you consider for just 1,000 calories in the 75% animal-based meal, you're getting dangerous amounts of saturated fat and trans fats, as well as nearing the upper limit on cholesterol. The choice is clear. Technically, I should include water content as well, since it's an essential nutrient in its own right. Many fruits and vegetables are over 90% water by weight. So the final score for the 40 essential nutrients with these two meals of 1,000 calories is plant-based meal 22 and animal-based meal 18. So I was just having a little bit of fun here. The point is that Joe Rogan is very misleading in what he says. And when you have over 6 million people that subscribe to your YouTube channel, it's very irresponsible to just make a claim that meat is much more nutrient dense than plant foods, when all I had to do was go on a chronometer, throw a couple of items in there in each category, and compare them, and see that he's not being honest. The implication in what he says is that it's incredibly difficult to get the essential nutrients that you need being a vegan, which is not true. It's simply not true. And he's misleading a lot of people, and we understand why he's doing this. He has an ideological issue with veganism for some reason. I guess he takes it as an attack, a personal attack, since he's a hunter. We know that one of his sponsors for his show, a main sponsor, is ButcherBox. So let's be clear. He has not a 100% honest perspective on this. Not even close. So let's all make a pact and stop getting our nutrition information from Joe Rogan. Peace.